Hi, this is Matthew. I'm going to do the final Rolling Stones album review at this point, since they haven't made any more since 2023, so we'll go with that. I thought I had made one of these before, but apparently I closed the entire application out, so I lost most of what I was talking about. That's okay, though. We go from... It had been 18 years since they had made any original material from A Bigger Bang, which was the last time they did that. They did Blue and Lonesome in 2016, but that was just blues covers from other people. So, yeah, there's that. So they decided to we'll do this. They tried to work with that other guy from the other previous albums, but it didn't work out. They weren't really inspired. They toured together, but they just didn't feel like recording. The COVID pandemic happened as well, and then they decided to do some recording again. Charlie Watts died in the meantime in 2021, and they just kind of thought, hey, we should probably, let's get together and make some stuff. We don't know how much time we have with each other, how long we're going to be around, so let's make a really good album. Try to get somebody else. I think Ronnie Wood maybe talked to Paul McCartney. I think it might have been Ronnie Wood, somebody like that. He said, hey, why don't you use Andrew Watt? He's really good with newer artists, and he can really just get good stuff going. I don't know if he's worked with him on any of his material. I don't know for certain. I like a lot of Paul's solo work, but so they talked to him. He said, okay, sure, well, I'll do that. Really got him kind of motivated. They recorded the thing in like 4 weeks once they'd gotten him in there with some of the other stuff they'd recorded before. They know out of that, but they had about 23 total songs, so you could have about 75% of a new album, which maybe someday they'll make. I hope so. But I guess time will tell. They really, I think, enjoyed the process. There was no click track. They just played together. There were overdubs, of course, later, but the bulk of it was just kind of live recording like they used to do years ago. So they seem to really like doing it that way for this one. Just straight old live recording with each other in the room, just the basic band together. And with some overdubs later on and some guest people coming in, which we'll get to in a second. We'll go through our tracks, though. Number one in like 19 countries. We were not one of the countries in the U.S., but I think the UK was, among other places, but we started out with Angry, which was, I think, the main single off of it. Just Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Andrew Watt helped with that one. Get Close, also the same group of writers, so he's helped with that one too. Depending on You, all the same writers. Bite My Head Off, I guess Andrew Watt didn't help with that one. Whole Wide World, didn't help with that one either. Dreamy Skies, Mess It Up, that was a single too. Live by the Sword, I know that was some other people with that one. That was, I think, the other producer. Driving Me Too Hard. Tell Me Straight, that's Keith Richards' vocal. And then The Amazing Sweet Sense of Heaven, which has Lady Gaga on it, and Stevie Wonder. And Paul McCartney's on Bite My Head Off, but we'll also see that in the credits of who additional people. And then the cover, Rolling Stone Blues, which is where the band's name kind of came from, by Muddy Waters. And that was apparently, I think that was done on actual tape and not digital. I think it's kind of in mono in a way. Mick Jagger lead vocals and backing vocals, guitar and percussion, and harmonica. Keith Richards backing vocals, guitar and backing vocals, and lead vocals, of course, on Tell Me Straight. Ronnie Wood backing vocals, guitar and bass guitar. Charlie Watts, he only was able to do drums on Mess It Up and Live by the Sword before he passed away, so he has only two tracks have him on drums. Bill Wyman did come back to do bass guitar on Live by the Sword, so he did show up a little bit. The other guy on bass, he did not appear at all, which is weird. Additional people, we have Ron Blake on trumpet, David Campbell on string arrangement, Matt Clifford on keyboards again, and Rhodes electric piano also, and Rhodes electric piano, an organ, and Hammond V3 organ, and Carlos Edwards percussion. He's been on before. Elton John on Get Close and Live by the Sword. So if you want to hear Elton John play piano, go check those out. Steve Jordan on drums, for most tracks anyway. James Heaney on saxophone. Lady Gaga on vocals on Sweet Sounds of Heaven, of course, which is a great track. Very ad-libby. Very enjoyable album anyway, but that's a really cool track. There's some ad-libbing even on it. Paul McCartney on bass guitar on Bite My Head Off. Go check that out if you want to hear him play bass. Vin Montench on Hammond organ. Doesn't say what kind of organ. Andrew Watt bass guitar and bass guitar, and he's also doing guitar, percussion, keyboards, backing vocals, and string arrangements. So he's busy. He's not just producing, he's playing on it as well. Stevie Wonder piano and Rhodes electric piano and Moog synthesizer only on Sweet Sounds of Heaven with Lady Gaga. So he comes in just for that track only. And that is it for our people. Very enjoyable album, very high energy. They seem to be they were having a good time making it once they got Andrew Watt on board. Really seemed to enjoy it. It was just them playing together, no click tracks or any fancy stuff. There was backing vocals and there's overdubbing and things, but the main bulk of it was just them and playing in the room together, it sounds like, which is pretty cool. Back to the it used to be, I think that's Andrew Watt kind of wanted them to just try it that way, maybe, and it seemed to inspire them a bit. So our production technical people, we have Pauline Almira illustration, Matt Colton mastering at Metropolis Studios. I'm not quite sure where that is. Matt Clifford vocal engineering and recording on Live by the Sword. Serban Guinea mixing at Mix Master Studios in Virginia Beach, except on Rolling Stone Blues. That person did not do that. Paul Amalfa mixing on Rolling Stone Blues. Studio Fury is back to do art direction and design for the album. I forget what album they did before. I like that name though, Studio Fury. Pierre de Beauport, guitar condition, crew chief and a studio assistant. Also, Mark Van Kool did the same thing. Trace Foster also did the same thing. Don McCulley did drum and percussion technician and studio assistant. Don did Live by the Sword. He was the guy I could not think of his name, who had produced them for years, but they just couldn't get anything going with him, so he only did one track. It seems that they used, perhaps there were others that they did not use in some form. Andrew Watt, of course, was the producer and the mixer on Rolling Stone Blues. And that is it. They also did a live album, well, quote unquote. They have a live album. It's called Hackney Diamonds Live. It's the album on disc 1. Disc 2 is a live they did at a place in New York City to launch the album. They did 7 songs. And Lady Gaga did come and do Sweet Sounds of Heaven with them, which is also a single with Angry and Mess It Up. Those were the singles from the album. So we have our tracks live were Shattered. The place is called Racket, apparently. I don't know. I've never been to New York to know what that even is. Angry, they do next. And then Whole Wide World. Tumbling Dice, so go back to do that. Great song. Bite My Head Off. No Paul McCartney, though. Just Yeah, probably Ronnie Wood or somebody. And then Jumpin' Jack Flash. And then we close out Sweet Sounds of Heaven with Lady Gaga. She came on stage to help do that one, so she does make the appearance there also. If you want to hear that live, they released it in December of 23, because I think that was all in October or so. That live gig. This was all done through Polydor for some reason, and not just Universal itself. Because it was a Polydor label release for some reason. Must have had some shifting around of labels in the 18 years of, well, at least since Blue and Lonesome. But yeah, really cool album. I really enjoy it. I've enjoyed that particular album a lot. They just seem to be having a good time, and it sounds good. Mick Jagger's in good form. I'll say it again. The older he gets, the better he sounds on blues songs. So that's awesome. It makes that Muddy Waters tune really good. I really enjoyed him doing vocals on that one, and I think he's on harmonica too. Somebody is. But yeah, a very enjoyable album for at least at the moment, the final one at the time. Hopefully they'll put another one out with some of that other material they didn't use. I guess time will tell. I think they did tour on Hackney Diamonds in 24. I don't know about this year. They were not going to tour anymore. They did come here near Springfield, Missouri, and play at Thunder Ridge Arena. I couldn't go, too much money on tickets. I looked with my boss, and we were like, nope, we're not going to that. I would love to have seen them, but it's probably not ever going to happen, just because those tickets were horrible. I was just really, really sad I didn't get to go. But you can look at the show on setlist.fm, though. Yeah, you just put in like name of band, even like location of something, or the year. It could do like the Rolling Stones Thunder Ridge Arena 2024, I think it was, and it will pop up regardless. If you know the date too, you can shove that into the search, and it will find any show you need. It will even tell you who was there. You can say that you were there. Shows all the songs in the set list on setlist.fm, even some video clips. You can edit the information if anything's not correct. But yeah, they played a good long set in that. But I don't remember if any of the new tracks were there. I'll have to go look again. But I don't remember if any of the Hackney Diamonds stuff was in there. I think it might have been. I don't remember when that... I want to say that was in like August or September, which would have been when they would have announced it. But I don't remember what they played. I would have to go look again. But yeah, that's the only time they've ever probably come to this area. So I know people had a good time, and some people that went. I think they had a good time at the show, but I was not there. That's okay. But that is all of their albums up to this point. And any other material. There was a live album also in 24. I forget what it was called, but if you look on the streaming services, you'll find it. Probably some tracks from Hackney Diamonds on it, maybe. I'm not sure how old that show is, but there's been a few live concerts on streaming for sure that have come out in various years that I didn't cover just because there were so many of them. I didn't really feel like trying to cover all of those and repeat myself on track names. But yeah, that's my go-through of the Rolling Stones albums right at the moment until they make a new one or something. Hopefully they will. They're all about 80 now, I suppose. Thereabouts. But yeah, good stuff. And hopefully I'm going to go through the Beach Boys albums next. I've never really gone through their catalog. Just kind of like, some of these groups I've just hits collections I've had and stuff like that. So I want to go through their albums and see what they're all about. I might have to go through there were some collections, some lives in the meantime with them. And I probably have to hit Brian Wilson just because I know there's an album that They tried to make the He did some stuff on too, so I will have to, that may cross paths with each other and stuff. But we'll see what happens when I start going through those, see what I feel like doing. But that's all the Stones for now. They haven't put anything else out that I know of. I think there's like a single out that came out on December 15th. It's now December 22nd now. I believe they had something come out in on the 15th or so. I'm just a remix or what it is, but there's some kind of a single out. So maybe there'll be something out soon. Hopefully I can hear it and do a review on something album related at some point down the road, if they are able to do anything else. That'll do it for now, though. I will see you guys in another video.